And we are live. Welcome back to another morning stream. Let's see, for the past 2 days, they were very busy for me for work, and for whatever reasons, I could not get live. So here I am back today with another live stream. Let's see what news do we have. This is what I wanted to talk about. Okay, this is the Prime Minister of Bharat. Okay, he is putting up a post about may this auspicious month further the spirit of togetherness in our society. May there be peace and prosperity everywhere. All right. Now let's look at. There's a fellow who goes by the name of Gert Wilders. He has put up something that should interest you. Okay. Here. And you have to connect. He is a member of parliament from Netherlands. Okay, let's see. I can make that headphones. Okay. Now this is what he is. Okay, now this is what he is putting up. At least he is aware. Okay, what are the problems that his society or his country or his people are facing. Over here, there is no awareness. Okay, we are still living under the assumption that there are no conversions going on, there are no forced marriages going on. There is no wider conspiracy theory. In fact, there was an incident from Odisha. Okay, an entire family was, indulged, and an entire family was helping the man of the house to build a bomb. Now, certainly they were not building that bomb to burst on Diwali or any other festival. Why exactly were they building a bomb? And the mother of the house, okay, his soon-to-be wife was also helping him. So where is this coming from? Okay. In fact, karma, it struck instantly. The bomb that they were building, it burst, and both the mother and son, they passed away. I think his fiancée is still fighting for her life in the hospital, but I don't have clear updates. But at least this level of political conviction and clarity is needed. What is acceptable in the society, what is not acceptable in the society. There's one thing that he has written in this video. Let me just play it again. See, not our culture. He says, not our culture. Okay, Ramadan as a practice was practiced in certain parts of West Asia or Arabia, the birthplace of Islam. Now, to all the geographies where it spread, they practiced this. Alright, so it's definitely not our culture. There is no mention of the month of Ramadan in any of our Aryan or Vedic literature. That's for a reason. Okay, there's no mention of Ramadan in Mahabharata or Ramayana clearly. Okay, in fact, all these things, the writers that the Mughals employed. So there was a lot of literaturizing of Islam and Muslims and society, or how they exist in the society. That was a very well-planned process by the writers that were employed by the Mughals, because I think they realized that they have not left, or they have nothing that they can stake claim, in our culture. Be it the food, there is no such thing as Mughal food, Pakistani food, or Muslim food. Okay, everything that they have just simply rebranded it. Okay, so if you believe that biryani and all that non-vegetarian food is somehow attributed to the Muslims, you're living under a rock, or somebody else has played a cruel joke on you. That is number one. Number two is none of their festivals are open to the members of the public, but they will want to celebrate our festivals, be it Navratri, be it on all the other festivals. And in fact, most of the people are happy, welcoming them into those festivals. They are also allowed into our temples. In fact, in Uttarakhand, when it was banned for them to enter into our areas of religious, there is this fear where there is a lot of temples. So very recently there was a directive to not allow the non-polytheists to enter that area, and in fact they had a problem with it. So isn't it haram for them to go into other places of learning? So yes, I think such level of political clarity needs to be there. Nobody is advocating over here to en masse convert people or en masse discriminate against. All I'm saying is treat them at par with the general civilians. You cannot have two set of rules, and you cannot remain nonchalant or blind towards the reality on ground. And the reality on ground is there are illegal encroachments. There are illegal immigrants who have been settled, and most of the times they have been settled by a nexus between the mafia and the politicians. They have been settled in strategic states, where they need, or the Congress party or some other parties for that matter, need their votes to remain in the political power. That is number two. Number three is, obviously once they are there in an area, they will try to convert others, because according to them, trying to convert others is an essential part of the religion. And how do they defend it? They defend it by saying that Constitution allows them to practice and propagate their religion. So one of the ways to express or practice or propagate their religion is to convert other people. It's all layers after layers after layers, man. What is this? Like a shield are useless. I will never bow to academic credentials. That is the problem with our people these days, because somehow, you need to have a PhD in history to understand that Islam is there to destroy your culture. You need a PhD in history to understand that you need to understand so on and so forth, everything that is going on in our society. There is this friction between the monotheists and polytheists, and I single out Muslims because they are the ones who are very fervent and aggressive about their demands. The Christians are the same. They may be a little bit subtle, but both the monotheists, that is both the book of the people of the book, that is Christians and Muslims, both are the same. At the end of the day, those people are trying to convert us. That is the reality. If you don't understand that, if you don't believe that, I'd say give it some time. Even when I was, let's say, 20-25, I lived under this idea of secularism. I watched a lot of Bollywood movies. I consumed a lot of liberal history and so on and so forth. Even these Khans in the Bollywood, I used to emulate them. I used to consider them as my role models. Not anymore, because I've grown out of it. I think COVID had a big role to play to bring me to my to bring me to this awakeness or whatever. But yes, give it some time. You will come to terms with ground realities. So yes, you don't need a PhD or a double PhD in history to know how monotheists have ruined this world. When I say monotheists, I mean both of them, the Christians and the Muslims. Look at the history that both of them have had. Okay, if you think that somehow they've grown a heart and they've improved and they've changed, then they will not convert each and every one of us. Like I said, you're living under a rock. There is nothing I would recommend. You just give it some time. Okay, let just grow up a little bit, and then you'll know. I think this is the type of content that a lot of girls they put up on Instagram because they know. Okay, let me tell you this. You might have come across this. Now, reel scrolling is something that is a pastime. Okay, when you're free, you have your phone inside your hand, you start scrolling reels. Okay, and especially now when the month of Ramzan is here, so you'll see a lot of content that is empathizing towards the Muslims, trying to normalize everything about Muslims, trying to, get you to have sympathize and empathize towards them. A lot of them will be reels about their festival, their practices, so on and so forth. There is an entire, different debate, by the way. Nothing about Islam is inherently Islamic. These are just bunch of practices that they've appropriated from cultures that they have destroyed. That is a separate conversation to be had. But the content that I'm talking about is such content. Girls, I genuinely think that these people, they're doing it for the sake of reach, for the sake of likes. But what this does is, when you make such content, it makes people think that these things are real. Okay, although a lot of people using social media, they know that you can't trust everything you see on social media, but it creates this idea inside their head that such things are to be normalized. So don't make such content, especially just for engagement and reach. If you really want to create content, create something that adds value to the person who is watching it. As he has been running, President Bracket Ham started forcing Avanti to go into station to easy money. Due to extreme pressure on him, she was vexed up and stabbed him to death and surrendered before police. Whew. All right. Macron. Emmanuel Macron, he is on a podcast with Raj Shamani. Okay. In fact, there were a lot of Bollywood celebrities as well. What celebrity has had their reputation unfairly ruined and has never recovered from it till this day? Blah, blah. Uttar Pradesh ATS arrested for coercing in UP data forces department and red card for conversions. The Kara is not a fictional story, it's ugly, brutal, and scary reality. I hope people see this, and especially the women, they learn from it. Okay, so come out of this slumber. Okay, I know it's very easier to just stay in that zone, that whatever we were taught, whatever we are seeing, whatever we are hearing, whatever we are reading, it's true and so on and so forth, but it is not. It's very counterintuitive these days to come to the truth. You know why? Because this entire game of narrative with amplification that is provided by social media is a very bad game. Okay, everything you hear in the public domain, everything you read is in a way designed to take you away from your real identity, that is the Arya or the Arya Dharma. Okay, so yes, these things, they are a reality, they are a ground reality. There are documented evidences about incentives in terms of money given to convert women. Okay, And these things are true. A lot of people who live in the urban areas, who have the convenience of sitting inside an AC room, they have cars that pick them up from school. They have cars to go every. So people coming from the privileged background who live in the urban areas, who are living a luxurious life, they think that just because they have certain privileges, it must be the same for all the others as well. Okay, keep in mind a very small portion of our population is urban, majority of our population is rural, and in rural areas there are strict divisions, I would say religious divisions. All right, so this happens, forced conversion happen. Okay, so don't if you're somebody who is living in an urban area, who has access to the internet 24/7, water, air conditioning, a nice house to live, don't go over the internet and comment about secularism and there is no such thing as love jihad and there is no such thing as conversion just because it has not reached your doorstep. Okay, when clearly there are examples from contemporary history. Let's not go back to ancient or medieval history. Let's not talk about Delhi, let's not talk about Mughals, let's not talk about Tipu Sultan, so on and so forth. Those people are in the medieval history. Let's talk about contemporary history. How many examples can you dig up after the 18th century about, Islamic extremism? Because then you'll have to believe we have completely chucked out ancient and medieval history. Forget it. Let's talk about contemporary history. And then you will start learning where exactly is it going. In terms of technology, in terms of development, we might have reached a certain stage far away from the medieval and the ancient period, but the religious thinking and the religious mindset that leads to such extremist, practices is still there. Oh, this is Tate. Okay. In most Muslim majority countries, people fast from dawn to sunset. That works fine when the day is 12 to 16 hours. But head up to Sweden, Norway, Alaska, Arctic Circle, you'll find when the sun doesn't set at all or sets for just an hour or two. In some cases, sun doesn't rise for weeks during winter. What do you do then? Idea that parts of the world even work like this. Of course, Quran never accounted for it. No verse says if you live near the poles and sun behaves differently, here's what to do. It is a desert-based religion with desert-based rules applied as if the entire globe looks like Makkah. Today, Islamic scholars scramble to fix this. Some Muslims in Norway follow Makkah's timing, others in northern Canada follow the schedule of cities. If this religion was for all humanity, why does it fall apart the moment you leave Arabia? That's true. I think people don't want to engage with these questions, but it must be worked out. The way Islam is being branded, okay, the sales pitch that is given to you for conversion is it is a solution to everything. Okay, you'll not need anything else once when you convert. Okay, but look at the parts where they have managed to convert them entirely. Are they fully happy? Don't they have any other problems? That is the question that we must ask. The utter failure. Okay. All right. I have zero sympathies for her. I mean, there are people who have given out their entire life, their life savings to work for the cause of women who have been terrorized and who have been forced and coerced into conversion. And now she's posting such videos about she has willfully, eloped. Maybe, maybe not, okay? But look at the message that this sends across. On the one side, there are people who are trying to spread awareness about, the downfalls of such actions. When you elope with them, what happens to you? And on the other side, we have such women who elope without thinking anything, and then now they release a video that they've done it willfully. There was no coercion, so on and so forth. So in a way, you are undoing the good work that other people are doing. If you don't have anything nice to say about, the civilizational warriors that we have, don't say anything at all. Okay. What is this? Slapped Rangan trying to talk to her assistant. That's true. When Krishnanand Rai ji was murdered and his choti was cut off to insult the Brahmin community, Brajesh Pathak was in the same party who murdered him. That time he didn't utter a word against Mukhtar Ansari. He's always proud his part of our community. Kottayam, Kerala. Malakkara Orthodox Church Bishop Yohanan Mar. It is embarrassing to hear that the time for the use of bar is extending for 3 more hours while. Yeah. It happens. But I think our women, they don't seem to learn. There are countless examples of such things. I don't know what's going on. It is due to these, liberal, secular women, empowered women who post on social media about, oh, my spirit animal is Sonakshi Sinha, my spirit animal is Kareena Kapoor, and other, people from other women. From the common public, they watch these reels and they get into that mode, or get into that vibe of no, everything will be fine, and such things happen. So there are countless examples. Okay, this is not just one. Each and every day you open your X feed and you will see each and every day there will be 3 or 4 examples of love jihad. But you have mainstream politicians, you have mainstream content creators, you have mainstream Bollywood stars. I would not say stars, I would say actors who maintain that there is no such thing as love jihad. It's a scary, scary world out there in contemporary Bharat. It is as if you can see, what is happening, but when you consume content, whether be it television, whether be it social media, whether be it newspaper, whether be it mainstream scholarship, there will be people shouting from the top of their voices that such things are not true. what are we supposed to believe? Okay, what you see is different from what you consume. So one of them has to be false, and it is clearly social media that is false. हमारे भाईजान की बेगम साहिबा छतों से फूल बरसा रही है। कुछ कट्टर हिंदू बोलेंगे कि यह पत्थर बरसा रही है। This was one more case of Tanya Yadav. We saw it earlier. Kerala story too, yes. I think this will also be made tax free. It should be. It should reach more and more women. Let's see.
People believe that Modi has done more for Muslims than he has for Hindus. Hard facts.
I hope this is the St. Xavier's College, Mumbai. And JNU. No, I'm kidding.
BJP doesn't want this fallacy to be cleared at all. मैंने ये BJP politician से पूछा, वो कहते हैं आग लगी रहनी चाहिए. Let people believe it because Hindus को ये नहीं लगना चाहिए कि Muslims के लिए ज़्यादा किया है मोदी. Honestly, I'm telling you, Hindus are the 8th class citizens of this country. I prove constitutionally, legally, through parliament, through society, that Hindus are being actively discriminated against. It is not the Muslims and the Christians who are being constitutionally discriminated against. It is the Hindus. If the government doesn't...
When you raise your voice against such things, what happens? Number one, on the digital media or the print media, you will be gagged. You will be not allowed to speak. Number two, you will not find audience. Number three, our own people will start labeling you as communal bigots and whatever. There are many expletives that are hurled at us for simply just standing up and saying that you are discriminating against us. Okay, these things happen. Our own people will bring you down when you speak about our culture, when you speak about protecting our religion, protecting our people from the monotheists. They're living under this idea of false empathy, like suicidal empathy, I would like to say. All right. I think that's it. That's it for this stream. You can check out my other content. I've posted some amazing content on Instagram, on X, on LinkedIn. You can read my articles on LinkedIn. By the way, today is Chhatrapati Shivaji Jayanti. He is the only one who is worthy of emulation, adulation, and if you want to be like him, that is the need of the hour, because that is he's the only hero that I've been left with. When I was young, I used to adulate and adore all those Bollywood celebs and stars. Not anymore. When I grew up and I got into fitness, I used to again emulate and adore a lot of cricketers, Virat Kohli, and to name a few. Okay, but then when Diwali comes across, then when Holi comes across, all these people, they have these gyan baatne ki adat about not celebrating the festivals. Then I got rid of them as well. There are a lot of politicians or political leaders that I would think that they are worthy of emulation. Not anymore. So the only people or the only national heroes that we have are our cultural and religious icons. Shivaji Bhonsle is just one of them. These cultural icons you will find from each and every state, each and every region of Bharat. Okay, from the northeast we have Lachit Borphukan and a lot of people. Okay, I keep on coming across them because it's not humanly possible to know each and every part of Bharat very closely, know their history, know their practices, so on and so forth. Okay, so from this point forwards, if you are watching this live stream, first thing that you must do to align yourself with this religious renaissance that Bharat is going to experience or is experiencing in the contemporary world is to change your heroes. First of all, idolize, emulate somebody who has fought for our culture, who has fought for our motherland. That is all that I wish to say. Thank you for watching.